I'm Laverne, and I am thrilled to say I'm in the live room with Laura Marling. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
How are you? I know
well.
you're a little bit hungover, so just say it. Let's just get it out in the open, Marling.
I'm a little bit hungover.
What were you doing last night?
It was my album launch last night.
Okay, so you were playing and obviously toasting the new record's release. So it came out this week. It's called A Creature I Don't Know, your third album. How was it to make?
It was a real pleasure. It was like very, very quick, 10 days in the studio.
Really? And just 3 months to write, I read. Is that right? So were the other two like that, or how did it compare?
No, not so much. The Speak took a long time in the studio and was written over like a year. So it was like a completely different experience.
Okay. I read that you got an interesting writing tip before you started work on this album, which was to write, was it conversations with people you can't have conversations with? That's a really interesting thought. Who said that to you?
A friend of mine who is a writer, and that like would do it with kind of authors that have died. Well, you never meet.
Yeah.
It's very interesting.
And so that kind of ignited something for you, and you wrote the record very quickly. So how do you think your songwriting has changed over the years? Because obviously this is your third album, but presumably on the first one, there must have been songs written when you were really just a kid. Do you listen back now and think that your songwriting's really developed?
I think I'm very much a different being than I was when I was 16. I can't say if my songwriting's developed. I mean, my guitar playing's got better. So my songwriting by proxy has got a bit better. So yeah.
I like the idea that you're quite a kind of, literary songwriter in a way. And as you say that, the songs are, there's a kind of like a Dylan-esque quality where it's like stories, and it is people have, as you said, I think about this record, that a lot of it is kind of half conversations because you were sort of following that tip and that thought. Do you find it easier to write in imagined situations than something that is very kind of direct now? Is that a direction that you feel yourself going in?
Yeah.
It's kind of more figurative.
Yeah, more figurative and more, it just gives you so much more scope.
Yeah.
To do whatever you want.
And lots of people have compared you to lots of different songwriters. I was having a chat with my dad this week, who I was saying likes your new record a lot, which is a rare thing. But he thinks a bit of Randy Newman in there, because there is a hidden darkness that is not, initially audible, but then when you look, it really is there. And also you do use the Randy Newman device of the unreliable narrator, which is his whole thing. Right. But who do you admire as a songwriter? Who inspires you?
Well, I grew up with Neil Young and Joni Mitchell. They've always been the king and queen of it for me.
Mm-hmm. And why is that? What is it?
I think with Neil Young, it's the simplicity of it, and then the lyrics are very powerful, but the music's essentially really simplistic, and the way he records is very recorded was really interesting. And then Joni Mitchell just resonates somewhere in my being that I can't explain, and obviously she's a phenomenal singer and lyricist, and
I think of you as a writer first, as obviously as a musician as well, but I do think of you as, I was listening to the record and I kind of like listen to what you're saying almost first. Do you see yourself as like a musician first and foremost, or as a writer first? Because I know that the album title as well is a reference to a book.
Yeah. Well, I think I'm more comfortable calling myself a musician, but probably I'm a frustrated writer. So somewhere in between.
Hey, I'm still in the live room and still with Laura Marling, talking about the new record. And of course, there is a tour to go with it, which sounds really exciting. You're touring some beautiful venues, Cathedrals. It's a cathedral tour. Who came up with that idea originally? Can you remember?
We did a church tour 2 years ago, and
it's just like the next version up.
Yeah. We are next level.
We're going to take it to the next level.
But the acoustics, basically because the acoustics are so beautiful.
Yeah.
But we don't know if, fingers crossed it's going to work.
Did you have to like recce the venues? Did someone have to go and check? Because I guess.
We're going to have to, I think.
Yeah. And where are you most excited about heading? Is there any particular cathedrals that are close to your heart? Because you've got some beautiful ones. And I know Gary in the studio would probably like me to name check Norwich Cathedral right now, which is Wednesday the 19th of October.
Norwich, obviously, that infamous Norwich Cathedral.
Are you into the history of it, though?
I am, to an extent, There was one church that we played in Birmingham a couple of years ago that was like the grounds of it were sort of overflowing because of when during the plague they buried so many people there.
Wow.
I like that kind of history.
There's a lot of grisly history in most cathedrals, to be fair. But I reckon when you arrive, there's going to be like a little old guy or a lady who wants to give you a tour and give you the full history. You could actually come back from this tour an authority on British cathedrals.
Well, there you go. Well, that's the goal. I mean, that's the dream.
Clearly, that is the dream. I hope you can live it. No, well, that's going to be ace. But what is the goal? Speaking of goals, for you, what quantifies success? Because, you know, you've got 3 albums in now and like huge critical acclaim with each one, commercial success too. What is it that you are trying to get? Are you kind of looking for a kind of artistic achievement and or trying to better yourself or, you know, your own songwriting or whatever? What are you reaching for?
I think now I'd like to, you know, get better. But with this album, I really like it. I really didn't think it was going to be. I wasn't comparing it to the last one, which was quite interesting. Well, it's not that interesting. But
no, it is interesting.
But this time, now this album is done, I want to do something better. I want to do something different. Mm-hmm. I want to do something that's so, you know, because this album was done, you know, it's so funny the way it works. It was done in March. It was written in, you know, the end of last year. So it feels quite far away from me now.
It's funny because I think I obviously sit here and interview a lot of people about their new records and it very much tends to be one or the other. Either people are so relieved to have the thing out and they just want to live with it for as long as possible and go out and tour and play those songs, or people, you know, as you just mentioned, are kind of keen to move on to the next thing. So you're one of that lot, are you? Yeah. Do you kind of keep writing always, or do you ever have breaks from songwriting, or are you always writing something?
I think I'm always writing something, unless I'm just sort of having a mental block for a couple of weeks, which is frustrating. And I'm not fun to be around during that time.
Oh, really? Is that the only thing that makes you grumpy?
Yeah. Well, no, that's not the only thing.
But it's a bad one.
Yes.
Right, okay, we'll try and avoid you at those points. And I read that, you know, we were talking off air a little bit about this record, beautiful, but there is a real darkness to it. And I read that you had said The Beast is one of the songs that was kind of had such a darkness that it even surprised you when you wrote it. I mean, where do you think that comes from? Is that a fascination with the macabre? You said the overflowing plague pits were your favourite bit of the last tour.
Yes, maybe that's a part of my personality that needs kind of sating. But yeah, no, I'm surprised by the dark. Yeah, I am surprised. I'm still surprised by the darkness in it because it just makes it very clear to me that songwriting is one part of just one side of my personality. Mm-hmm. I'm actually quite sort of bright and breezy most of the time.
Maybe that's where you put it all.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe that's it's my saviour.
I like PJ Harvey popped in to see Radcliffe and McConey last week, and I heard Stuart asked her, do you ever just cut loose and kind of enjoy a bit of Xbox? So, you know, because I think in a funny way that is the problem, that, you know, if you're a female singer-songwriter, people ascribe that kind of intensity to you that you don't necessarily possess, at least not all the time, because who can be like that all the time?
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
But would people just be happier with the illusion? That's why I feel like, you know, it's a difficult line. You know, I could just sort of maybe keep quiet and people can make their guesses.
Yeah, the Kate Moss approach. I think there's a wisdom in that. All right. Well, listen, we wish you the best of luck with the tour and the new record. Thank you so much for coming to see me. And you're going to play one more song for us before you go, I know, Laura. What's it going to be?
It's Salinas.